to the Coach's Chair. We're our first show, and this is going to be an exciting show, just like our previous ones are called A Look Behind the Pages. A Look Behind the Pages. And I am thrilled to have Miss Stacy Bradner with us today. Hi, Stacy. Stacy doing
jazz hands, jazz hands. Okay. Yes, those are my jazz hands.
We love the jazz hands. And so Stacy Bradner is also a co-author of Yes, God, the book. And so we've just been doing all of the Yes, God authors in this series of A Look Behind the Pages. And so please, before we get started, if you can take a moment to go ahead and subscribe to this channel so that you can be a part of the Michelle Renee Consulting family of power people. So we would love to have you subscribe to us. And without further ado, Stacy, a very, very powerful woman of God. You wrote chapter number 6.
Yes, chapter 6
in the book. Can you tell us what the name of your chapter is in the book? And then I want you to just share with our listening audience, what made you say yes to the Yes, God project? So the name of your chapter, and then just share, what made you say yes to this project?
Awesome. So the name of my chapter is By Felicia. And it really dives into how sometimes when we say yes to God, we have to say no to ourselves. And I know that's hard, it's unpopular, but it is, it's a new level, no less for myself. And, you know, to that end, to answer your question, what made me say yes to Yes, God, was really getting outside of my comfort zone, doing something different, something that I would say I always said I wanted to do, but never really made the space to do it. I pray about everything, of course, particularly something that's major, that is time consuming. And in this particular case, I just, you know, ask God for the plan, you know, just show me how am I going to fit this into every other thing that I have. I wouldn't even say 10 things, probably 20 things I have going on. Right. And he showed it to me, number one. But number two, we were in the middle of the pandemic. It was sort of just starting, and I was in a different place, a place of reflection, a place where I was, I had already started writing and journaling on a few things. So this was just, I would say, the perfect stepstone, yeah, because it was very reflective during that point in time. So this was, it was just, it was almost like it was like the next thing in a line of different decisions. So it was very apropos.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So one of the things that stood out in what you said to make this, actually, it was a few things that you said that I thought was powerful. One of the things I wrote down is getting outside of my comfort zone. And so it makes me connect to your chapter titled By Felicia. And oftentimes when God is calling us to something new, whether it's to another level, whether it's to a new assignment that he has for us, that often feels uncomfortable. And so I'm just wondering if you can just share with some folks that may be listening today, how do you manage those moments of discomfort when you know God is saying, I need you to go ahead and move forward with whether it's this project, Stacy, or whether it's something else in your life? How do you personally manage those discomforts?
I'll put it to you like this. Oftentimes, what we've been doing feels so comfortable to the point where sometimes we don't know it's toxic or we don't know that it's bad for us. Think about it for a second. I'm a runner, and sometimes, you know, I've had to go to the physical therapist and they'll say, what kind of shoes are you wearing? I'm like, oh, these shoes, I've had them for, you know, a good 2 years. And they were like, that's the problem. I'm like, but they're so comfortable. They feel so good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the reason why your knee hurts. That's the reason why your back hurts. And I know you don't want to give them up, but they're hurting you at this point.
Yeah.
So I think oftentimes we get a little comfortable in the crazy, to the point where sometimes we don't know that we need to make some decisions. When I reflect back on a lot of the decisions that really are, that I sort of address in the book,
Mhm.
that we often have to make, such as who are our influencers and things of that nature. And, you know, how would we even get to a point where we change things like that? You know, I think the one thing that resonates or sort of that hits me is why not? You know, why not make the decision? Why not write the book? Why not try something new? Particularly if you're tired of the crazy, particularly if you have been doing things a certain way, and you
Yeah.
keep getting the certain, you know, that same outcome, and you want
Yeah.
a different outcome, why not do
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we have to, you know, when making a decision, you know, to do something different, that next level, sometimes we have to ask ourselves, why not?
Yeah. Like
You
instead of
know,
why me, why not me?
right, right, right. Why, you know, are you afraid of success? Are you afraid of that next level? Is, you know, are you afraid of the work? Are you afraid that you're going to have to, you know, perhaps sacrifice something? And, you know, yes, you can do it. I'm here to tell you you can do it.
Yeah.
Not only can you do it, but sometimes when we face the fear,
Mhm.
when we face the unknown, when we face the uncomfortable, that's when we get our greatest victories with those things that are most difficult.
Yeah.
And the way you do it, of course, is with prayer. You just take it slow and, you know, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I like that. Be kind to yourself. Wow. Be kind to yourself. Yeah. It makes me think of when I hear that, be kind to yourself, it makes me think about how we can be cruel to ourselves.
Hmm.
Sometimes we hold on to unforgiveness, which
Hmm.
causes us to become imprisoned within our own
Yes.
selves. And I think if we think about change, if we think about saying bye, Felicia, to
Yes.
things in our life, the comforts that we have, if we just embrace just what you said, it's a way of being kind to yourself without even knowing that you're being kind to yourself.
Right.
Because
Right.
this comfort that you're feeling is actually entrapping you. It's
Yes.
not allowing you
Yes.
to move forward in the very things that you want. So
Yes.
a lot of times we're praying to God, oh God, you know, I'm ready to go to the next level. I'm ready for you to use me on the next level. But if we stay stuck in comfort,
Yeah.
and it always feeling good, and God is trying to pull us, it reminds me of Jonah.
Yes.
I need you to go here. And Jonah is like, no, I'm going to go over here. And God is, the blessing is not over there.
Right.
Blessing is where I'm telling you to go. And so very, very powerful. How would you encourage someone even now who may be sitting on the fence? Like they know they have an inkling inside of them that God may be saying, you know, I need you to now do this. I need you to write this book.
Hmm.
Oh, you've been thinking, or I need you to start this ministry,
Hmm.
or I need you to go after this job, but they're just not doing it for whatever reason, whether they're scared, whether it's fear. What would you say to encourage someone to just go ahead and say yes? Say it afraid. Just go ahead. What would you say? Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's all of those things that you just mentioned. One is admitting where you are. Yes, I am afraid. Yes, I am busy. Yes, this is not what I'm accustomed to, and just really embracing that, number one. But number two, accepting whatever it is that God has for you. That's not easy all of the time, because it may be unfamiliar. So what I would say to someone, just an encouragement, is that anything that God puts before you, He's going to give you. He's going to equip you with what it is that you need in order to move towards those things that He is asking you to do.
Yeah.
Um, he may not give you the entire story. He
Yeah.
may give you the first step,
Yeah.
and when you take the first step, you know, he's there holding your hand, you know, and you take the second step, just like your child, your parent is teaching you how to walk. Yeah, he's going to be there. But I think that the important thing to remember is that a lot of times when you look at a lot of the people in the Bible who did amazing things, for the most part, they didn't know what they were going to do. I don't think Esther knew what she was, what she was doing for her people. I don't believe that David knew, what it is that was before him. And so it is with us today. I don't believe that everyone probably, if they could sit there and imagine what their life is going to be like, probably, have it all figured out, or have the entire picture in front of them. They only have a piece of it. And so it is a faith walk. So I would encourage you to, number one, understand that if God is putting something in front of you, first of all, he's going to equip you. But number two, he's going to be there with you.
Yeah.
And three, you'd be very surprised who is around you, who is in a position to have gone through the same thing that you've gone through. That's why the Bible says to seek wise counsel.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were a lot of things associated with this book even that I was just not accustomed to. And you probably know that more than anyone, technology, just doing things differently. And so for me, just trusting that I had people around me who understood was extremely important. So I will say this much: if I was able to do this, I think people should be encouraged. That's all I'm gonna say.
If Stacy could get through the book, trust me, you can get through what it is that you need to do. Amen. No matter what it is. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it also, Stacy, because you said it's a faith walk.
It is.
I think that's so perfect, because faith is something we can't see, right? But it's something that you have to trust with God. Yes. And that's part of what we're saying, which is why, yes, God is not just a book. It's not just words that you say. It's a lifestyle. It comes from within.
Right.
This yes, God walk. It's developing a relationship with God, to the point where you don't want to say no to God.
Right.
To the point where you no longer want to disappoint him by our disobedience. And Lord knows I've done that time and time and time again. But I'm to a point now where it used to be comfortable, but now I'm no longer comfortable saying no to God. I'm no longer comfortable, and I can't stay comfortable long, knowing that my obedience to him is even delayed. And so, because now, like you and like so many others out there, there's too much at stake. And so you get tired. And I got to a point where I just tired of saying yes to Michelle. And so that's why your chapter resonates so much, where you're like, bye, Felicia, because saying yes to God, like you talk about in your chapter, you have to say goodbye or bye to yourself.
Yes.
And that's where I think a lot of pain is for people, but that's where that faith picks up that you talked about. Because now it's not in me, it's in God. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I think a new you as well. That's something that is so important. I think the other thing to remember is this: at the end of the day, if we stay the same, although it's comfortable, if we stay the same, we actually fall behind. Think about it. If we stay in the same spot, and then the earth revolves around its axis, a year later, you'd be behind. Because things are always progressing. God is very progressive. He's organized, he's progressive.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think we need to keep in mind is, even if you don't say no right away, the ship is always sailing. He'll come back around again. He's a gentleman. God, I'm saying, he's a gentleman. He'll come back around again, maybe a different way. Particularly if there's a lesson that you haven't learned. He'll come back around again for you. He'll keep coming back around for you.
Or either you'll be coming back around.
This is true.
Because you'll be on that same, how I look at it is, I'm on
that cycle,
hamster wheel, or just going around and around
Mhm.
the same circle until I
Yes.
decide or we choose we want to
Yes.
get off.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Wow, just powerful. So, Stacy, I do
Yeah.
want to ask you, we have a few more moments left. This has been very, very engaging. Can you just share so that people get an understanding, because you are a very busy, very powerful woman in God's kingdom. And so can you share a little bit about what you have going on now? Some of the exciting things that you do where God is actually using you in those things too.
God is using me in so many different ways. I try to keep it on the humble, and I'll continue to
Amen.
do that. I'm working in an awesome space right now in my career, where I'm part of a startup at my organization, where we are focusing on addressing gaps in the workforce, particularly in this area. And I think that is powerful. I'm happy to be part of it, and I feel like I fell into it, number one, but number two, I'm very humbled by it at the same time, because I know that um, I could be any place doing anything, but God has answered some prayers for me in order to be able to do that. I'm working in my church as well, doing some outreach, as well as in some of my, I'm going to say, non in the nonprofit space,
Right.
working with a diversity organization right now to help them set up their mission and vision statement,
Yeah.
as well as transform their organization. Sort of doing that on the side,
Yeah.
as well as I do work in the community with youth in the arts, which I love,
Yeah.
as well as I work in my sorority, and we're working on our public relations.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yeah.
just to name a few.
That's the name a few. I feel like
Yes.
that's like so your space. Yeah.
Yes, but I'm trying to scale it back a little bit.
Just a little bit. Because
Just a little bit. Yes.
what would you tell people out there who have a whole lot going on? How do you decide what do I scale back versus what do I keep on my plate? Because I know that's a challenge for me
It is.
sometimes too, when God has gifted you in a way that He's brought a lot of things to you, but also I know we can get our plates overfull with things that we allow other people to bring on. So what's kind of like your methodology that you can share to keep yourself balanced, if you will, with all of the work out there?
That is actually an awesome question, because, there is a blessing in being single, and that you have the time and the space to really pour yourself into a lot of things. And that also brings the challenge of when do I say no? Because we can't do it all.
Yeah.
God is not calling us to do it all.
Yeah.
The way that I prioritize things is the way that the Lord laid it out for me is, first of all, your relationship with me is number one.
Amen.
Your self-care is number two. And then number three, the things that I've given you are very important. Your family, your job, your home, those things that God has provided for me are, the next priority. And then everything else comes next. And, I try to map out, what's possible within a day. And if for whatever reason something doesn't work, I just believe you just have to be very honest with people and tell them, this is when I can do that, or
Right.
this is when I can do this. And, if you may have to consider another source. I've had to do that before, where I've
Yes.
suggested someone else who can handle some things. And it certainly works out that way. And it's okay to say no, the same way I say no to myself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's okay
Yeah.
to say no to others as well.
Wow. I
Yeah.
love it. Oh, I love it. And this is some good advice. See, I told you
Good.
you're going to get some good, juicy stuff. And so I wish we could stay on longer, but we have to wind it down. But somebody's going to get a book. Yeah.
Yes.
So Stacy is also going to give away a free book this evening. And Stacy, would you like to share with our viewers how they can go about getting a free book from you?
Yes. Can you just take 1 second and in the chat associated with this video, answer a question for me. And that question is this: what is something that you believe God is calling you to give up or do that you haven't done yet?
Like it. Can you repeat that question?
Absolutely. I actually wrote it out, so I'll read it. What is the one thing that you know that you need to let go of, but haven't?
Yeah, I like that. Woo! So did you guys hear that? So you want to actually, it wouldn't go in the chat, it would go in the script comments below the video. So just write it in the comments below the video, and you have until February 16th.
Okay.
And Stacy will be looking at all the comments up until February 16th, when she'll select her winner that you'll go and join. Yay. And so also in the description section of this video, I'm going to put Stacy's contact information. So if you'd like to get in touch with her to purchase a book, we're going to put that information right there, and you'll be able to go ahead and purchase a book from her. You got to get this book, Yes, God, because it's very, very powerful. Just our stories and how we were able to say yes to God, and how you can too. And how if God can use us like he is, and you've heard all the things that God has entrusted Stacy with to do in the kingdom, he's no respecter of persons. He could do it for you too. And so Stacy, thank you.
Thank you. And we're all winners.
Yes. Thank you so much for being with us, for giving us an opportunity to just take a look behind the pages at your life and the person that you are. And so you're an incredible, awesome woman of God. And I thank you so much for this opportunity. And so we thank you guys for watching. We love you. We say goodbye, good night. Until next time.